Sportuccino mug, check. iPad with all of your comments from Facebook, check. Mobile phone with your comments from Periscope, check. It can mean only one thing. It is time for Sportuccino. It is 3 p.m. British Standard Time, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. Good morning to you in the States. Good afternoon to you in the UK. And good evening to everyone on the eastern side of the world. Welcome to Sportuccino. Every Thursday, we talk about things related to sports business. Yes, we look at more than just what the game is about. We talk more about results. You know, we've had some fantastic games in the Champions League this week, but you can't have a game of football without a decent pitch. So in a few moments, I'm going to be talking to Phil Blackwell from SIS Pitches to learn more about that. Stay with us. We'll be speaking to Phil in just a few moments. But I want to tell you that today's show is brought to you with the help of 99 Designs. 99 Designs helped produce our Sportuccino logo. It's absolutely fantastic, and you can check it out as well. All you got to do is go to the link on our Facebook page, on our YouTube page. That's 99 Designs, and you can have a logo designed just as good as we've had for us here at Sportuccino. All right, so I mentioned we're going to learn more about football pitches, and not just football pitches, all kinds of sport pitches. So I'm delighted to say that the project director for SIS Pitches, Phil Blackwell, is joining me now live on Skype. Good afternoon to you, Phil. How are you doing today?
Hi, Richard. I'm very good, thanks.
It's really good to have you on the program. Now, Phil, let's start very simply. Just tell us what exactly is SIS Pitches, please.
So SIS Pitches is a unique global pitch specialist. At SIS Pitches, we design, construct, manufacture, and maintain natural, synthetic, and hybrid sports pitches.
Okay, so how did this company start doing this to begin with?
So SIS started about 17 years ago. In Europe, we were very well known for our natural turf returfing capability within stadiums around Europe and in the UK. We then sort of ventured into the synthetic turf market, for which now for more than 10 years we have been manufacturing and producing synthetic turf products in our factory in the UK. We have offices located the world, and more recently we have launched our hybrid turf system, which is known as a SIS grass, which is a 95% natural turf system with 5% synthetic fibre content reinforcement in the pitch.
Why 5%, Phil?
This is the optimum level of synthetic fibre reinforcement for the hybrid surface that we've introduced. This is several years now, and our system basically takes what's already been achieved and sort of makes it what we believe a much better system.
Now, you say 5%. I mentioned to you just before we went on the air that I went and did the tour of the Allianz Arena in Munich, and Pep Guardiola was in charge when I went and did the tour, and Guardiola was really involved in what the pitch was like. He went for 2.5% rather than 5%. Do some of the managers like that get involved in these discussions when you come and provide your product?
Yeah, it's not uncommon at all for managers to get involved in what pitch surface they prefer or they want on their stadium pitch. Many managers, go around from club to club as Guardiola has, and he's used to a certain type of surface. And when he went into Germany, he wanted a surface that he was, potentially familiar with, and that's why he maybe suggested what he wanted, what he wanted there. So
who are some of the clients that you work with?
So we've got several clients. In the UK, we work with Chelsea FC a lot, Derby County, Hull City FC, and we also installed our first SIS grass pitch at Bournemouth Football Club last year. And then further afield, we have clients in Russia, Spartak Moscow. There's a recent installation, Besiktas in Turkey, the Maltese FA, we've done their national stadium. And in the past, we've worked with the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona as well.
And it's not just football you do, is it?
It's not, no. We do lots of hockey and rugby as well, mostly in the UK. We've constructed pitches for Saracens, which was the first 3G rugby pitch in the Aviva Premiership, and that was followed closely with Newcastle Falcons also.
Fantastic. All right, we're going to learn a little bit more about SIS Pitches in just a moment, but I want to tell people where they can buy the fantastic Sportuccino mug. All you got to do is go to sportuccino.com/merchandise, and you can see exactly what else we've got on offer there. We are live here. Phil Blackwell from SIS Pitches is still here on the program. If you've got any questions, get involved on the Facebook page, get involved on YouTube, and of course we are on Periscope as well as sportuccino.com. Love to get your thoughts. Now, Phil, you were talking there about some of the teams that you're working with, and of course you're going to have a big role at next year's World Cup, aren't you?
Yes, we are. Yeah, so SIS Pitches has been very successful in Russia over the last 2 or 3 years in securing several high-profile projects in the stadiums which will be hosting the World Cup next year. And we'll actually have a total of 6 stadium pitches which will be constructed by ourselves. And these pitches will all have our hybrid system, SISGrass, installed to them. One sort of important thing about this tournament next year at the Luzhniki Stadium, which will host the opening ceremony and the final. This is going to be the first World Cup final to be played on anything other than 100% natural grass. So it's a world first for hybrid pitches there.
Just quickly, Phil, I'm throwing this at you. I don't know if you know the answer. Is there a specific rule these days on the percentages that are allowed to be used at an international and say a Premier League level?
I'm not sure on the exact if there is any sort of specific rules on that, but I don't believe there is. There's obviously a clear split between synthetic and natural, and hybrid sits sort of in the middle at the top of the game.
Yeah, because of course Arsenal played a non-league team earlier this season in the FA Cup, which was purely on a 3G pitch. Now, there were lots of complaints in the 2015 Women's World Cup about them playing on an artificial surface. In fact, I believe the American team were going to put a lawsuit against FIFA, and that all got quashed and that all got cleared up. What did you make of all that story at the time, Phil?
Well, I mean, I think this was the sort of one of the first major tournaments to be played on synthetic pitches, and I think you're always going to get some negativity and complaints from some players or teams. I think on a positive, I mean, the quality of artificial pitches is getting better year on year. And as more and more of our younger players are brought up on synthetic pitches going forwards, our next generation of professional players will be more used to synthetic pitches, and so it will become the norm and it will eventually be accepted. But when things are new into new tournaments like it was at the Women's World Cup, I think it was inevitable that some people weren't going to be overly happy.
People don't like change, do they, Phil?
That's right.
Well, it's interesting because when I was living out in Doha, Qatar, they had a 4G pitch at the Aspire surface, and I've got to say it was absolute pleasure to play football on. The ball really zipped when you passed. The only problem was if there was a long kick and it bounced before the defender, you were in a lot of trouble. Well, for me anyway, as a defender. For the strikers, they loved it. Anyway, we're talking about these synthetic pitches and 3G pitches and everything. What are the benefits not only to the players but also to a club as a whole? So
3G pitches have sort of many benefits, but for clubs, especially sort of lower league clubs, small clubs, schools as well, the benefits are huge. The amount of usage these synthetic pitches can handle is so much more than what you can get out of a natural pitch. So synthetic pitches can be used for 50, 60, or even 70 more hours per week. On a natural pitch, you'll be lucky to get sort of 5 or 6 hours a week. The other thing is maintenance costs on a synthetic pitch are less than a natural pitch, but it is still a very important part of having synthetic pitches. Maintenance, it can't be underestimated, and it is very crucial in the interest of longevity of the surface. The top 3G pitches around are also, they're tested to FIFA and World Rugby standards, so players can go to these pitches comfortable with the knowledge that they're playing on a decent surface. The other benefits of 3G are the fact that they're consistent and they maintain their consistency throughout a game, throughout the year. No matter how much you play on them, as long as they're maintained and kept to a decent standard, then these pitches will perform day in, day out.
I saw on one of the videos, one of the clips we've been playing while you've been speaking, you did a resurface at St George's Park. You've been working with the English FA. How regularly should teams be doing a returfing? Is that the right even term?
So if you're talking 3G pitches or natural pitches?
I'm talking 3G, but also the synthetic ones. Your 95% with your 5%.
So part of regular maintenance of a hybrid surface involves what we call an annual renovation, which involves the complete removal of all the natural vegetation on that pitch. This is an essential part of the process of having a hybrid pitch, to ensure that it performs consistently year on year.
And what about you, Phil? How did you first get involved with SIS Pitches?
So I started with SIS Pitches in 2004. Before that, I had 6 years as a groundsman at my local team, Ipswich Town Football Club. So I came in from a natural turf background into a SIS Pitches, where I continue to work with natural turf, but have also now gained extensive knowledge and experiences around Europe and in the UK, working on synthetic, and more recently now sort of heading up SIS Grass in the UK in our hybrid section. What
have you made of Ipswich this season, Phil?
It's not been great, has it? Nothing to shout home about, let's put it that way.
Yeah, as a Brighton and Hove Albion fan, I've really enjoyed the Championship this season, even if you haven't. Be looking forward even more to the Premier League next season as well. Well, Phil, it's been really good to talk to you today on Sportuccino, and really good to learn about SIS Pitches. Just before we go, why don't you tell us where we can find out more about you guys online, and also any of your social media channels, please?
Okay, so we can be found on at sispitches.com, and at Facebook we can be found as SIS Pitches, and on Twitter we are at SIS Pitches.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to say SIS Pitches 3 times fast very quickly. You did well there, mate. You did well. Well, thank you so much for being on the programme today. Really appreciate your time. Phil Blackwell, the Project Director of SIS Pitches. Thank you for being on Sportuccino.
Thank you.
Really good to learn from Phil about SIS Pitches on the programme. We'll have to see how those pitches hold up. I'm saying pitches a lot. When the World Cup takes place, I believe they're doing the World Cup final stadium. That should be a very incredible occasion and an amazing event. So really good to learn about them. And every single Thursday we have been learning about sports business. Unfortunately, I wasn't here last week because I was in Doha, Qatar, doing the ring announcing. But 2 weeks ago, we learned about DNA Fit, which take a look at your genetics and your DNA. And the man we spoke to there is Andrew Steele, and he's a former Team GB athlete, and he still hasn't received his medal back from, I think it was the 2008 Games. Have a look at this.
Previously on Sportuccino.
We finished 4th as part of the 4x400 meter relay in Beijing 2008, behind a Russian team that finished 3rd. And retrospectively, one of those members had his sample reanalyzed 8 years later, and they found an adverse analytical finding in his sample, and therefore the Russian team have been retrospectively disqualified, and by then so we become the retrospective bronze medalists. However, there appears to be some long process in place that means the medals they don't make spares, right? So people don't realize this. They don't make spare medals,
goodness.
so they have to go to these guys and say, "Please, can we have the medal back?" And if I was them, I might have, lost it. Let's say. So, I don't blame them. So I don't know what will become of that. I'm just happy to know that I was the rightful third place finisher actually all these years later. But bizarrely for me, it happened just after I retired from the sport. So I retired last August, and then in September I became an Olympic medalist. So it's a really strange feeling actually, a really strange anecdote.
Oh, well, I kind of want to start a campaign, get Andrew Steele his medal, because I think that's a joke. Why can't they produce another one? I'm sure they can find like the molds or something like that again from somewhere. And you know what? Also, I think they should at the next Olympics almost have a little section where everyone who is now given, or well, not given, but earned their medal now, they should have a little ceremony so you have that experience of given your medal in front of a sporting crowd. Because
I spent I don't mind people ask me about, what about the money you could have made from sponsorship or this and this, and actually really the only thing that bothers me is that I didn't get to experience that feeling of satisfaction of standing on a podium at the Olympic Games. And actually it turns out I was the rightful sort of position there to have done so, but I was robbed of that. That's the thing that bothers me, not like what I missed out on from the trappings of a medal or success, and that is a shame.
Andrew still there on him still not having his 2008 Olympic medal. Amazing story though. Go back and listen to it. Oh, pardon me. When you just drink too much coffee. Andrew still there on still not having his 2008 medal. Speaking on Sportuccino 2 weeks ago. The full episode is at sportuccino.com. Go and check it out. And that whole platform has got lots of information there for you. We've got all of our previous episodes of our wrestling shows, of our football shows, of our health and fitness programs, of our sports business programs, 30-minute shows. Go and check them out on sportuccino.com. And you may be listening to this as a podcast on iTunes. If you have been, please give us a rating and review. That really helps us. And if you just click that subscribe button to make sure you get some daily sports news goodness. And of course, every single Wednesday, I bring out the best in the world with Richard Parr podcast, where I speak to Olympic gold medalists to find out what they do differently from you and me, unless you're an Olympic gold medalist. If so, hello. From what they do from me and you in becoming the very best in their sport. That's really useful if you're in your own athletic endeavors, or even if you're starting your own business or just your everyday life. There is something we can learn from Olympic gold medalists on the program. Go and check it out. All right, on Friday's Sportuccino, it is our big sports preview. We're going to look ahead to all of the big football action happening this weekend. We'll also reflect on the Champions League and the Europa League. And I'm delighted to say that on the program, I will have the sports journalist live from Ghana, Gary Al Smith. Delighted to be speaking to Gary once again on the program. You do not want to miss it. If you don't know the times, it is 3 p.m. British Standard Time, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. GMT if you're in Accra and you want to see Gary Al Smith. Do not miss it. I've been Richard Parr. You've been watching Sportuccino. Watch us tomorrow. YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, sportuccino.com. Listen to us on iTunes. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful evening.